Well, it's a new start to the week and it's still quite cold. We're getting as many things growing as we possibly can, and we're obviously sticking to mainly cold hardy things. Everything that we're germinating is being germinated indoors. It wouldn't germinate out here. There's more chance at seeds rotting before that happens. But we're always trying to start things off as early as possible so we can maximise as harvest. And we also do lots of staggered planting. And potatoes are no different for me. We have different varieties of potatoes that we plant at certain times of year. Your first earlies are the ones that you put out right at the beginning of the year, followed by your second earlies and then your main crops, which is your nice big potatoes that you'll be harvesting somewhere around September, October. And obviously you need nice weather to grow potatoes. They don't like cold temperatures. If you get even a mild frost on the leaves of your potato plants, they'll go black and die off. And then what happens is your potato seed will need to send out a brand new shoot. So it's starting all over again from the very beginning, and you spent all that time doing what we call chitting them to get them started before we put them into his containers or ground. And at the moment it's too cold to be putting anything out in that ground, because all you're going to do is have plants sat there dormant, not really trying to grow. But because it's so damp still, you've got an increased chance of those plants just rotting. We've been doing things indoors and we've started chitting potatoes. It's only been a couple of weeks and you can see that we've got a nice chit growing on there. Exactly what you want to be looking for. A nice dark purple or greeny coloured, and we've got another one there as well, and this one's got a couple of chits growing, which is fine. We don't want too many though. If you get 4 or 5 chits growing on one potato, I would knock a couple off, because you're going to end up getting more foliage than you are potatoes. So 1 or 2 on each potato for me is perfect. And although I said it's a bit too cold to be starting your potatoes yet, I always try and do them as early as possible by offering extra protection at the same time, so we can just get a little bit of start on it, and then maybe we can do some more of the same, these being second earlies, a little bit later on, once again staggering those harvests. We don't want to be emptying containers full of potatoes all at the same time, because first earlies and second earlies don't store very well, so you need to eat them as you harvest. So if you can put a few weeks difference between each planting, that's going to work perfectly. And we're going to start off with these today. As cold as it is, we're going to just plant a couple. We'll offer them a bit of protection and we'll see how they get on. And the first ones we do it here, I'm going to start off in this old compost bag, because we're recycling things that we've already used. And we've already put compost in it a couple of weeks ago and then added some extra nutrients like grow more and fish blood and bone. So there's plenty in here to start off with. We've made lots of holes in the bottom as well, because drainage is really important. Otherwise, again, you'll rot that seed potato before it even gets going. And we folded the edges of this bag down, so we've just put a bit in for now. We'll wait until we see that potato plant coming out of that compost, and then we'll bury it, and then we'll roll this bag up as we go to get more and more compost in it. It's not such an important thing when you do this with first and second earlies. As long as you've got plenty of compost for your potatoes to grow in, they'll be fine. Because always remember that first and second early potatoes grow outwards, whereas your main crops grow up. So that's why you have to constantly bury that plant as it grows, because it will then send out more and more tubers, so you get more and more potatoes. But to some extent we still do it with the second earlies, just so we know we've got plenty of compost in there, mainly for root growth, which will maximise as production of potatoes at the same time. So that's all been nicely filled up, and we're going to get these potatoes popped in, but we're not going to do that just yet, because it's so cold at the moment. We need to maximise insulation on this bag. But just to help this plant along, I'm going to pop it into one of these. These are homemade wooden planters, and we've spaced the bottoms out on them just a little so there's loads of drainage. And we made these out of old pallets so they were free as well. And we're going to put that bag inside this box, but we're also going to add some bubble wrap to it. It's an extra layer of insulation inside a box. So we just want it to line the walls of this box. And then I'm going to add a few holes to the bottom of this bubble wrap so we know it's still got really good drainage. So a couple of nice slits in the bottom. Then I'm just going to drop this bag in. And then tuck all this bubble wrap around edge as well. So a nice little warm bed to start them off. And then we'll get us potatoes and we can plant them. And what we're going to do is we're going to bury them a few inches, not too much. Probably so the top of this potato is about 3 inches below top of this compost. So looking inside bag, I'll just make an hole. And then we'll push that potato down like that. The chits facing upwards because that's where your plant will come from and start to grow out of this compost. So that's your chit. Make a hole, bury it right down so it's completely covered, and then just cover everything over. And that's your seed potatoes planted. And after doing that, we'll just give it a light watering so we know that it's got some moisture in there. But we don't want to drown it at the same time, because once again, we don't want this potato to start to rot before it's got a chance to grow. But because we've chitted them in advance, it's already on its way. So now that's basically all set up. As potatoes are in, they've had a bit of water, not too much. They're sat in a bag that's going to hold this heat in, and they're surrounded by bubble wrap as well. So it's double insulated, plus it's in this wooden box. So at this time of year, that's about as much protection as you can offer your plant. And because at the moment nothing's actually growing out of this compost, it doesn't really need any light. So we can also cover it top. That's going to keep the frost off your plant. So that's nice and snug. And if we want to, we can also cover those sides as well. And these seed potatoes have now got maximum protection from cold. So we'll just pop it to one side and wait to see what happens. So although it's very early in here, by doing a little bit extra, we can try and get some things started off. But if you live in a really cold climate, then maybe wait a few weeks more before you do this. If you're interested in seeing how these potatoes get on and a few more things that we're going to be doing over the next few weeks, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.